So I wanted to share this kind of like amazing moment in my life. It was I've just thought about it. It's kind of lingered in my mind for a few weeks. And I'd gone on Super Shuttle and taken Super Shuttle to Long Beach. This is like in the midst of having a stroke. And a lot of people wouldn't do that, but I did. And then when I got to my apartment, the only thing I could really think of is that I just desperately wanted to go to sleep. So I took a nap. I went to sleep. So I woke up in the morning and I was thinking, I'm really screwed up. That was not the word I thought of. It was a substitute for screwed. It would be like wrong speech. So I am really screwed up. And so I started then, for the first time in 24 hours, something started clicking in that you need to take care of yourself. So the first thing I thought of is, I better find my insurance card. I think a lot of people would think of that, right? Where the hell is my insurance card? I may have to go to the hospital. So then I thought, where's my Medicare card? So then I started thinking, what's the address of urgent care? So my mind was so screwed up, that I couldn't. So I tried to do the computer, but I couldn't type anything. So I couldn't. It just came up gibberish. Then I thought, so where's my wallet? And I had this thought that popped through my mind. I thought, this is why people put things in important papers in boxes. This is why I bet this is why people save, like earthquake, they have a place for water. I bet that's why people do this stuff. It never occurred to me. But so I'm desperately looking for my wallet, because I thought if I can find my wallet, I've got my scan insurance card in there. But I couldn't find my wallet. I couldn't find anything. And so when people came into my apartment later, they said it looked like it had been ransacked, because I had just opened drawers and thrown it right in this floor. Plus four suitcases, right, that I had just unpacked. There was a moment that it's like a seminal moment in my life. And most of you probably, well, I hope you've not had a moment like this. Maybe you have. I think some of you have. But I desperately just thought, where's it? I need my wallet. Where is it? I need these things. And I had this moment of suddenly wanting to cry out to God or to Jesus or to some deity to come and help me. There was this moment of such helplessness and almost hopelessness, because I couldn't figure anything out. And I had this amazing moment, as a practitioner, that's what we're all doing, what we do together. I thought, oh, I get it. I get religion. I did really. I thought, oh my God, I get why people need to believe in God. It was like this amazing moment of almost like bittersweet and just tenderness and, like, bless your heart. You don't really have that. You don't have that source, this place to call out and, dear God, help me find my damn wallet. So I thought, I really got it. I thought, oh my God, it's like we need this. We need something that we can believe in outside of ourselves that, that will come and help us. How many times have we been in a dreadful moment when we really just, we need, come and help me. Come and save me. So that was, as I said, it was like a seminal moment in my life. Only that, it's like I didn't go to, I'm not going to say this, I'm not going to be anti-religious. I didn't suddenly, become saved. I don't know. I didn't, but it was like, as I said, it was just this moment of understanding how, I didn't think of this at the time. But I go back to Kadrub's question, and later I thought, oh, I don't really have that thing that I take refuge in, right? Because what is that? Going to church and praying to a God or Jesus or Moses or Allah. People take refuge in the idea of some powerful being that loves them and watches over them and perhaps can save them. You know, it makes total sense to me. I don't, not for the moment would I ever make fun of that. I think that, you know, there are comedians who make fun of people who are religious, and I think that's dreadful. I think that's also stupid. As Carl Jung said. But anyway, that was an amazing moment for me because I think it's the first time I really ever grasped how I understood and had compassion for the need to believe in something outside when you're desperate, you know. And I was absolutely desperate. I couldn't focus. My eyes wouldn't focus on words, you know. And so here I am trying to find a damn insurance card. You know, I mean, it was not possible. All of that slowly, you know, evolved. And some people could say, well, you know, you're really lucky because, you know, you were taken care of. And so I wouldn't put that down and say that's untrue. So I wanted to just say to you all just a little bit about the meaning of taking refuge. In the sense of what we do and K-Group saying. So you all have heard this, I think, and you know this. But the reason why I wanted to share it with you is because it is certainly, it makes sense to me. Right? I mean, I can do this. This is not something that I have to stretch my mind with faith, you know, and take some leap of faith and say I believe in this. Because other people say it. So what does it mean that I take refuge in the Buddha? Well, it means I take refuge in the capacity of the mind to awaken. I could have tears in my eyes. There's no part of me that does not believe that. There's nothing in me that doesn't believe in your ability to awaken. Right this moment. There's no part of me that does not believe that when we were sitting for 45 minutes, that's what we're trying to do. Struggling and mostly not achieving, right? Because we're getting lost. We're getting lost in our program, in the computer program that's running. But the amazing thing about us is that we have this capacity to transcend our program. Or like for me, when my iPhone, I think I had like 400 emails from all of you. I think over 400 emails, and you know, like the thing was, whatever you call it, your inbox was filled or whatever. But so I kept trying to do things and it would freeze, right? My iPhone would freeze. I push it, it would. So, you know, so what do you do? What did I do when the iPhone would freeze? I just shut down the power. You know, almost intuitively, you know, because I mean, we all know that I'm not a technological genius. I would shut down the power, it would shut off, and then I would turn it on, and voila, it worked. It's like magic. That's what we're trying to do with the computer program. We freeze, it freezes. And basically, within the absence of mindfulness, we don't know that we're frozen, and we don't know that we're just simply just running through this damn program, whatever it is, being stupid, as we all are, and I am. And in fact, all we need to do is to have the mindfulness to know that we're out of control. I'm just absolutely out of control. Stop this. Stop this program. Just stop it. Just stop it. Stop being, you know, whatever it is I'm being. And then rest. Find that alert, rest mind. The mind is alert because it's mindful and it's resting. So anyway, that was just like a little lesson for me in terms of my iPhone, that's what we're supposed to do, is to shut off the damn power. The juice. Shut it down. And to some extent, that's what we do when we sit. We're learning at least some technique of shutting down this program that is just taking us nowhere. Just So I take refuge in the firm belief that we have the capacity to awaken. Every one of you, and including myself. I'm not leaving me out of that one. That is the meaning of I take refuge in the Buddha. You know, if you believe the Buddha awakened. So I told the class yesterday, when I first read the story of the Buddha and what he went through, his years in his ascetic practices, I didn't have a moment of doubting if that was true. There was nothing magical about it. He didn't fly up to heaven, and God didn't come down and tell him, you know, you're special, which is fine. I'm not putting that down. I truly am not putting it down, but I'm just saying there's no magic to it. There's no magic to it. I mean, like that something miraculous happened. It's just someone, he did the work and he woke up. And then you say, well, if he did that and he woke up, maybe I could, you know? Wow. That's a pretty amazing thought, isn't it? Travis, maybe you could do it, you know? With my help. So standing there, you know, and having this desperate need for something to come and give me my wallet, something to come and give me my insurance card, something to dial 911, which I wasn't able to do. And as I said, I will never, ever quite not understand that in other people again. I mean, I will never not quite understand that, and I will never dishonor it. This need to have something to come and help us, it's just human, and it's certainly every child part of us has it. So I take refuge in the firm belief that as a human, I have the ability to awaken, to wake up. And then, you know, and as a corollary of that, I would say, you know, obviously, so this practice of sitting on a cushion and dealing with, as Zorbo, the group called the full catastrophe, and that's what we're doing, right? We're doing when we sit down. We're dealing with the full catastrophe. I love that, you know, like the Christian murder used to say, "You are the problem," right? And I can take that personally, right? And he's exactly right. We're sitting with the problem. The number one problem. There's only one problem in the world, right? And it's right there on your cushion, right? It's right here. Here's the number one problem. And Nizar Gadada used to say, take care of that and just see what else is left. You know, what other problem is left if you take care of your problem. So then you take refuge in the Dharma, and that one is pretty easy, right? I mean, easy in the sense of obvious. It's taking refuge in the teaching of not only the Buddha, but the teaching of all people who walk this path, all of the beings. And most of you, or many, well, some of you know that for me, I have always been most inspired by the great Chinese teachers, the Chan masters, and the Zen teachers. I think my mind is just wandering right now. Suzuki Roshi, you all have heard me tell the story. Suzuki Roshi used to compare, he says that when we're sitting, we should be like a frog. You know, he said a frog just sits there like that. But he said, let a fly come by. Right? So here's a frog just sitting like this, and the fly comes up, that tongue goes out like that. Right? Alertness and rest. Nothing is more at rest than that big old frog sitting on a rock on a pond. Right? Totally at rest. And yet, the slightest movement, that tongue is a delicious smell, delicious fly. So that's partly why I am so in love with those Chinese and the teachers. They're so earthy and so brilliant. So that's the Dharma. The Dharma is the teaching, right? The teaching of some people call it the Buddha Dharma, but the Dharma, it transcends all traditions. The Dharma covers every tradition. You take the Hindu, and the yoga, and I find myself over and over and over when we're talking about the mind and trying to talk about what is the mind and what is a thought. I looked up what is a thought recently. It said it's an activity of thinking. Isn't that great? Thought is an activity of thinking. I mean, that's how far we've progressed in this, in these years. There's no definition of what a mind is, let alone what a thought is. We don't know. I said last Sunday, you remember what I said last Sunday? I said, what has no legs but can go anywhere, no eyes but can see anything, no ears but can hear anything, right? You cannot name it, but it names everything. It's the mind. The mind. Or it's the mind stupid. So this attempt to describe what that is, and this attempt to discover and to discover it and for it to become illumined is the Dharma. That is what the Dharma is, and it is to some extent, if you want to, there are aspects of the Dharma which are in Christianity and in Judaism and in Islam. It's the truth, the perennial truth, the truth that is non-changing, doesn't change. The Dharma doesn't change. It doesn't say, we should not harm beings except in mitigating circumstances. It says we shouldn't harm beings. Right? So I don't think that it is so difficult to take refuge in the Dharma, is it? Right? I mean, would that be such a difficult thing? And then the last one, which is the thing that has so deeply touched me in the past month, is the Sangha, the community of like-minded people who are attempting to do the same thing, right? Attempting to wake up. And I think lately, I would add that, helping each other wake up, wake up. Wake up, helping each other to wake up, reminding us when we fall asleep. The iPhone freezes over and over and over. So then helping us. The Sangha is, like when you have like somebody who has been ill, and then the Sangha becomes incredibly loving and supportive. And it's the other thing that occurs to me about a Sangha is that it's like it's kind of sad, but it's wonderful. But there's no support for this practice. There just is none. Where is the support for this practice, right? In the world, you go to work and talk about meditation or talk about even mindfulness or whatever, but the Sangha is your support, is our support. It's the place where we come back and we're not aliens from another planet, right? You come in here and you sit on a cushion and the bell rings and you're not weird, right? You're not like, there's nothing strange about you, It's like you're sitting there and like someone comes in, opens the door and looks and says, what the hell are these people doing? But it's not strange to us, right? This is, and that's what's so beautiful about it being a Sangha, You couldn't do this anywhere. Go to church, go to temple, try to go to a sports event, right? And sit there. So the one thing that you can do and not be weird and alien and strange is meditate in a Sangha. You are totally supported there. And I had the thought as I opened my eyes, just at the end of it, said I was looking at everybody and I had that. Again, just this thought of, like we're each creating a sacred space, every cushion is a sacred space. We're all, what are we doing? So you can't really describe it, but you are becoming something that is sacred. It goes like Buddham Saranam Gacchami, Dhammam Saranam Gacchami, Sangham Saranam Gacchami. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. But for me, that's not a ritual. And that's why I don't need to chant that. And I never chant it. I mean, I'll mouth it at the far. But I don't need to do that because it's a living... It's totally living inside of me, And so I would like to just invite you all so what do you take refuge in? What do you take refuge in? Do you take refuge? Is there something that you can take refuge in? Because it's a really big deal, And it's a huge deal if you don't know that there's nothing that you take refuge in. I mean it's a huge deal in that because that not knowing that it leads you in that direction. And then if you do if you begin to realize, that there is, oh my God, there really is something that I do take refuge in. There really is, that maybe I don't have this religion or that religion or this faith or that faith, but when you come back to this idea, I take refuge in the I think this battery is dying. I take refuge in the absolute belief that every being has the capacity to awaken. That's just, I don't think I need anything. That's enough for me. And I'm done.